And we're just about talking the other day, over the weekend, we had a very, very massive concert, which is the Global Citizen Festival. Now, it came to an end and the conversation still continues. So we're here to share thoughts after. But don't forget that on the Global Citizens Festival on the Accra stage, the government of Ghana and South Africa announced the African Prosperity Fund. That's one thing you should know. That's going to be a joint initiative by the government of Ghana and South Africa, which of course aims to deploy $1 billion to fund projects for economic inclusion and financial participation across the African continent. Now, the fund will also focus on projects in the African continental free trade area as well, including infrastructure development and also financial access for the participation of women and youth. Education, healthcare, and also technology will be part of it. Sustainability, all for the benefit of Africans, 1.3 billion people. Now, globally, we understand that the event also happened in New York, but the good thing is that the Ghana version was bigger than the New York version. You would not agree with that. In the studio with me this morning to have a conversation around that is Liz Agbor-Tabi. She is the Vice President, Global Policy for the Global Team, and I'm talking about Global Citizen Team, and she's here to throw some light on what has happened, the aftermath of the event. Good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you, MJ. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning and to talk about what we experienced here in Accra over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I know you were there in person.
I was. I couldn't have been anywhere else. You had a good time. And congratulations to you and the team, by the way. Great stuff put together. And I'm sure you enjoyed here in Ghana more than you would have enjoyed in New York.
Well, you know, we are a global movement, and what we hope to achieve is to continue to build this movement across the world to address the challenges that people all over the world face. We've seen in the past 2 years with COVID that any disruption anywhere in the world has the ability to impact citizens all over the world. Absolutely. Right? So we're such a connected, interconnected race, really, humanity, right? And so what we did here in Accra, we were hoping to achieve a sister sort of event across Accra and New York. And I think we were able to do that successfully. And we've been around for 10 years. And this year, with this campaign, we had over 2 million actions taken by global citizens across the world. 2 million actions taken by just in this campaign alone. And as you know, what we saw on the stage on Saturday here was the culmination of this year-long policy advocacy campaign where action takers are calling leaders are holding them accountable, really, to take action, to make commitments in response to their calls. And that's really what we saw here. We were able to mobilize $2.4 billion through this campaign, and that will go towards achieving equity for women and girls. Will also go towards addressing the climate crises that we're facing, protecting advocacy and dismantling those systemic barriers that keep people in poverty. And then, of course, we had great musical performances. Awesome. So if you were there at the event, I'm sure you have a picture of what, you know, really, in the next couple of years, if we get the opportunity to have this event here in Ghana again, what to expect. And we'll delve into that. But how would you describe your 10th anniversary? With the policies you intend to put together, with the achievement after putting that policy together, looking at it, how would you describe it? You know, we have a very unique model of pop and policy, right? So we believe that music is a common language of humanity that connects all of us. And we've been able to leverage music, our artist activists, to advance our policy agenda. And I think that that's what makes us really special and appealing to young people. Our movement has grown and continues to grow. And, you know, as I mentioned, this year we had over 2 million action takers just in this campaign alone. And so we are excited about where we are, and we look forward to continuing to grow the movement. And hopefully there'll come a time when there won't be a need for this sort of activism, because we'll live in a world that's equitable, in a world where each and everyone has the ability to live a life with dignity, and we can end extreme poverty for all.
One unique thing, though, is the fact that, I mean, the global policy is looking at ending extreme poverty, but a focus was thrown on girls.
Yes.
Why that unique policy? I think it's complemented holistically. How did we arrive at that?
Well, you know, whether it's climate change, the climate crises, or it's public health emergencies, women and girls are disproportionately impacted in all of these crises. But we also know that investments in women and girls yield the greatest for society and communities as a whole, right? And so this year we really wanted to prioritize investment and a focus on women and girls, because we believe that that will yield the greatest good for humanity. And we were able to do that this year through the commitments that we raised, and to really shine a light and spotlight really the achievements of women and girls, to celebrate them as well through this campaign. If you notice, all of our hosts on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. A big shout out to all the ladies on the platform on that night, from the musicians to the host. I mean, everybody did a great job in making sure that this message, is able to get out there very well. Now, where do we move now? Where are we going now from here?
Well, you know, for me, I'm going to be heading back home to New York. I've been living here in Ghana for the past 2 months, along with another colleague of mine.
You should stay another 2 months.
I know, just in time for December, right?
I know. Another 2 months will be worth it, so stay.
And then, you know, it's back to work, preparing for our next campaign.
Okay.
And preparing for the next festival, which is a culmination of our year-long campaigns. But, you know, I'm really excited about what we've been able to do here. We've gotten so much feedback that we've raised the bar, we've set a new standard. You know, but what I think we've done here is we've really put a spotlight on the arc of possibility.
Absolutely.
Right? We have all of the talent here, we have the human resources here to be able to produce these sort of events, right? Which are appealing, which are entertaining, which are properly coordinated with the resources that we have here. And so I hope that this will be an inspiration for others to come. And I look forward to continuing our work here, to continuing growing our movement here in Ghana and across the region more broadly.
And I'm excited about the number of humans that have been empowered, or people that have been given opportunity to serve on this platform that you brought. And moving forward, the change is going to make in their lives as to, you know, where they belong in terms of the arts industry. And I'm excited about it. It wasn't as if that we're bringing certain concert here, we're bringing our own people, so every other person to stay back, but you were able to, as much as possible, you know, put human resources here in Ghana for them to also achieve, and many of them have been empowered. I mean, if you listen to the conversation that's come out of this, it's incredible, and we love it. We're hoping that in the future we're going to have this here again, maybe in the next 10 years or less, but I think it will be a good one.
It's undeniable that we couldn't have been able to do this without the support of the Ghanaian people.
Correct.
The government of Ghana has been an incredible host. His Excellency President Akufo-Addo.
He stayed at all late.
He stayed at the event, I believe, almost till the fireworks.
Yep.
But President Akufo-Addo has been such a tremendous advocate and supporter of this movement and this engagement. And we couldn't have done it without him. And then also the Ghanaian people, all of the people who took actions, all the action takers, you know, the 2 million actions I spoke about, all of our vendors, all of the performers. And so, you know, it takes a village to put on this engagement. And gotten the $1 million question of when next. What I will say is that we believe that to end extreme poverty, there must be an investment in Africa. And so we will continue to deepen our footprint across the region. And who knows? We just might be back.
Again. I look forward to that. I look forward to that. Before we go, though, what's your message for world leaders from what you said?
You know, the citizens of the world are taking action, are showing up, and are demanding more of our leaders. And I think our leaders are listening, and so our actions are not in vain.
Great.
What we saw over the weekend, I mean, to be able to mobilize $2.4 billion from world leaders, from the private sector, civil society. It just goes to show the importance of using one's voice, the importance of using the individual voice to galvanize change and towards the world that we all want, a world that's equitable, a world that's fair, a world where people can live a life with dignity. So continue to use your voices, continue to take action, and know that our world leaders are paying attention.
Thank you so much for making time this morning. I like your outfit, by the way. You should be wearing more of this when you get back. But guys, I've had the pleasure of talking to Liz Agbor-Tabi. She is the Vice President, Global Policy for Global Citizen. And we spoke about the event that happened over the weekend. We wish you the very best as you go back to prepare for next year. And we hope to see you more here in Ghana. Have you had any food from Ghana, by the way?
Of course I have.
Like which ones?
And I'm not going to talk about jollof
Don't
rice.
talk about it. It's enough. Talk about something else.
But you know, I like TZ.
Oh, great!
Which is one of my favorite Ghanaian dishes. The one that no one ever really talks about.
Yeah.
And then of course I love banku, both the fancy banku and the ga banku. I like both of those. And okra stew.
Yeah. You've done a lot in Ghana. We should have added kokote to it for you anyway. But thank you so much.
Kontomire as well.
Kontomire. Oh, man. I like that. You're a Ghanaian already. Don't worry. We're going to make sure you don't go back anyway. But thanks so much for making time for us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Medase.
Medase. Anyway, that's Liz for you here on the show. We've got conversations coming up. Rosalind is taking up some traditional, gowns conversation. If you're very fascinated about it each and every time you hear the word of it, we have something that will definitely tickle your fantasy. Stay on.